Hello and welcome everyone to our very first episode of Power Play. My name is Drew Kirby and alongside me, Cade Manor, Holden Beers, and Jada Smith. We are here in the SESN studio where all four of us are very happy to talk about the Super Bowl, which is coming up in just 3 days' time. All four of us are huge 49er fans, so we want to go over what we think is going to happen during the games before in the conference championship, and maybe some awards about this season. So getting right into it, Cade, let me start off with you. I know you're a huge Niner fan. What are you expecting to see so far in this first game?
Yeah, so, hoping history doesn't repeat itself, for the first to start off, because, obviously we lost to the Chiefs in that Super Bowl in 2019. Blew a 10-point lead. That wasn't fun to watch. I think that's basically, the first thing that Kyle Shanahan needs to do is, I've always kind of been a little iffy about his clock management. I think he's gotten a little bit better at that. So I was kind of in a standstill. I remember I was talking to my mom about it. It's like Kyle Shanahan had a stat where he was like 0-30 in his career when he was trailing in the fourth quarter or something like that. And I think in this playoffs he's been able to prove that he can, come back from deficits, especially after last week in that Lions game. So, I'm just really looking forward to a good game.
Yeah, and I'm sure you two both are. Jaden, are you worried about Shanahan at all?
My worry isn't too much of Shanahan. It's more of our defensive coordinator.
Okay.
I just hope that he comes out with the right game plan to start off the first half so we don't go down and have to recover as much as we do like in the Lions game as well. That's just my main concern.
So worried about defense, yeah. That's definitely a valid concern. Holden?
The only thing I'll be worried about in terms of the coaching is Shanahan. He talked about this week. He likes to, with Purdy, he's more an aggressive play caller. So I hope he's not too aggressive because the Chiefs' defense has been great all year long, especially against the pass. And when you hear aggressive play calling, you're thinking deep passes on maybe first down or second down. So I'm hoping he's not too aggressive to the point where Purdy is forced to make a decision and he might turn the ball over. I know Purdy hasn't done much of that this year, but Super Bowl, you never know what can happen. And for the defensive side, Wilkes, as long as he doesn't, like Jaden said, he doesn't fumble the bag in the first half, I think the defense will be fine.
And as we know, we are playing the Chiefs, a very, very difficult team to play. They have Mahomes, Kelsey. We all know this. Are you guys expecting a higher scoring game or a more low scoring game?
I feel like it might go to a higher scoring game. It's just a matter of if we just calm down Travis Kelsey. I feel like if we calm him down, they don't really have much options after that. As we can see, the Chiefs, they don't really have any other threats. Maybe the running back, but other than that, it's just Kelsey. So if we able to tie him down, I feel like it might be a higher scoring game for the Niners at least.
Yeah, I feel like that's the difference between this Chiefs team this year and the Chiefs teams of years past is that, when Mahomes was first coming into the league, 2018, 2019, 2020, their defense was not good.
Yeah.
But their offense was so good. They were scoring so many points that they were outscoring everybody. It really did matter. And, this year it's kind of the reverse. Their defense is incredible. And then their offense has been, kind of lackluster. It's definitely been probably the worst regular season of Mahomes' career. And he's still in the Super Bowl. That just shows you how good that he is at football. But I think, yeah, definitely what the 49ers defense needs to focus on is, as you said, stopping Travis Kelsey. And, I feel like if we just double him, the problem is they don't really have any other big threats on offense. Their wide receiver group is not really able to constantly and consistently win one-on-ones. So I think slowing down Travis Kelsey is definitely going to be very important for our defense.
I think it's kind of the same for the Niners. The script is reversed because back in 2019 when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, the defense was the number one defense in the league with Bosa and Warner. They were younger, obviously not as many players, but we still had the number one defense in the league. They were allowing 13, 12 points a game, and the offense was kind of lackluster, kind of like the Chiefs were this year. But now it's the complete opposite for the Niners. The Niners had the best offense in the league this year, and their defense was still pretty good. It was top 10, but it wasn't that number one caliber defense we were used to seeing.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how both sides are kind of reversed, like Cade said.
Yeah. It definitely there is going to be a lot of stuff to talk about coming up on Sunday. But before we get into that, I kind of want to talk about what happened in the championship games. Let's start off with the Niners and Lions. I mean, it was definitely a crazy game. Lots of, as we saw, a big lead blown. How do you guys feel about that game, Cade? Was there anything that initially stood out to you watching that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously what I mentioned earlier about Kyle Shanahan coming from behind in a deficit like that, which is not really anything that he's shown as a head coach before. But, I mean, he chose a good place to finally go and show that, he can come back from a deficit. And Brock Purdy, too. I mean, throughout his, entire career since he started in the middle of last year, he never really had to play from behind because he was always winning by so much. So that's not really anything that he had on his resume. Mm-hmm. And now that he and Shanahan both have that on their resume, I think is really good for them.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dan Campbell's name will be brought up by one of you two guys. He did get a lot of hate for his play calling. Jaden, what were you thinking about that?
Speaking of his play calling, I feel like if Dan Campbell just went for those 2 field goals that he could have went for, and he just ran out of the clock, the game wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be here right now. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I feel like I don't know what to feel like. That's how crazy it is. Because I just feel if he just made those correct calls, Detroit's in their first Super Bowl against the Chiefs. But other than that, that's like the only thing I'm thinking about for Dan Campbell.
I wouldn't necessarily put it all on Dan Campbell. Like, obviously, those were big mistakes going for on both those 4th downs, but especially that second one because he could have taken the lead when it was tied 24. But you don't know if the kicker is going to make that field goal. Yeah. It could have still been tied after he could have missed it, and they still don't get the points. And also, the players, they had opportunities on those 3rd and 4th downs. Josh Reynolds had 2 crucial drops on 3rd down when Jared Goff was giving him a chance to make a play. And I just think it was overall on the whole team. Also, the Lions defense started to play lackluster against the Niners offense. And then, Gibbs obviously had the fumble on that first play of that drive. Mm-hmm. Gave the Niners great field position to score again. So, I mean, it wasn't fully on Dan Campbell, but I think he could have made a couple better decisions.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Holden. But, to an extent, the Lions, it's who they are, They go for 4th down every single time. The very first game of the season against the Chiefs on that Thursday night game, they went for it on 4th and 2 with a fake punt. Dan Campbell, he's a ballsy guy, So I'm not mad at him for sticking to his roots and trusting his players like that. But what I am curious about is the Lions defense compared to the Chiefs offense. The Chiefs defense, excuse me. The Lions defense it's not great. They kind of are carried by their offense. So I am curious what you guys think about how the Niners are going to go compared to the Lions defense compared to the Chiefs defense. And the Chiefs defense is a whole different universe, in my opinion. I think they're a lot better defensively than that Lions team. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Do you think the Lions are going to be, or the Niners are going to be struggling a little bit more against this Chiefs defense?
I don't really think so, to be honest with you. I feel like, at least to me, I don't think the Chiefs has a really good run defense. So I feel like if we keep feeding McCaffrey the ball, it's gonna be a long game for the Chiefs. So if we keep feeding McCaffrey the ball, then that'll eventually open up the pass for us as well. It's gonna be an easy game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what Jaden just said. If the Kansas City defense does have one weakness, it is their rush defense. During the regular season, they let up 4.5 yards per carry, which was bottom 10. And I mean, we all know CMC's a dog, offensive player of the year, in my humble opinion. 1,459 rush yards, 21 scrimmage touchdowns. Yeah, we need to feed him the ball. I mean, I feel like that's going to be the key is, fighting that one weakness that the Chiefs defense has because their pass defense is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think using the run to set up the play action will be huge for the Niners against that Chiefs defense. Because, the Lions defense wasn't really good against the pass, but they were all right, against the run. But obviously they're not anywhere near what the Chiefs are this year. But they're kind of the opposite of what the Chiefs defense is. So I think Niners will have a completely different game plan for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And as for the AFC Championship game, that was definitely a crazy game. Chiefs, Ravens. Cade, you're shaking your head. What are you thinking?
I mean, Todd Monken, I feel like this is something that, your job has to like get in jeopardy over something like this. I mean, and I feel like that's crazy to say because their offense was so good. It was the number 1 rush offense in the entire league this year. So I guess what baffles me is that you have the best rushing offense in the entire league, and you give the ball to your running backs 6 times throughout the entire game. I mean, I don't know what the game plan was there, but whoever came up with that game plan needs to get fired.
Yeah. Jaden, was there anything that caught your eye when you were watching that game?
One of the main things that did catch my eye was that Zay Flowers, fumble at the goal line?
Yeah.
That really spoke to me because it was just like, that could have changed the game.
It would have, yeah.
Because the score was only 17-10 to
At
finish
that
off
time,
the game.
yeah.
So, it's just like it's just those minute details that the Ravens need to work on. Giving the ball to your running backs or drop a play for Lamar. Get Lamar moving.
How did you guys feel about Lamar's play that game? Holden, I'm kind of curious to see what you have to say about it.
Personally, I think like he didn't really read the field well, especially when they weren't running the ball that much. Obviously, the offense coordinator wasn't giving him any leeway or advantages when it came to the passing game because they weren't using the run to set the pass like they had been all season long. But the Chiefs' defense was doing a really good job of disguising blitzes and coverages, and the linebackers would drop back and not even look at Lamar. So I think that confused Lamar a lot in the passing game. And Spags is a great defensive coordinator. He probably designed that game perfectly against Lamar.
Yeah.
So I think Lamar, not fully on him, but he didn't play up to his standard.
Would you say over under 30% Lamar's fault to take blame for that game? Under, so not really.
Yeah, I would say like 20.
20%, yeah.
Because they, like Cade said, they should have ran the ball more. They had that 15-yard run by Gus Edwards at the beginning of the game, and
then they didn't give it to him. For the rest of the
like
game.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah. That actually brings me to my next point. I was curious to see what you guys had to think about Lamar. So I wanted to play a game called Lamar or this QB. So basically all you got to say is I'll say one QB. You tell me if you think they're better than Lamar or not. So I want to start with Justin Herbert. I see those two names a lot on who's better. So I was curious to see
like who to start a franchise with.
Yeah, start a franchise right now, moving forward.
I'm taking Justin Herbert.
That's tough because they're so different.
They're so
good in their own ways.
I'd probably, to start a franchise, I'd take Herbert.
Probably,
yeah.
Is it different, or what makes you say that?
Just because of his overall talent, and I think with how bad of a coach we all knew Stanley was, or Staley, excuse me. Herbert still broke rookie records, still performed amazingly well most of the time. This year he was kind of iffy, but this year was the Chargers' downfall. They had a bunch of injuries as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Herbert's a very talented quarterback that I would start a franchise.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll definitely be the teller after this season as to whether we should take him over Lamar or not.
And if they're going to keep Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, because they're both free agents, I think. And then Austin Eckler as well.
I think Eckler's out of there.
Really?
There's no way they keep him.
What I do want to say is Shanahan or John Lynch, I wouldn't mind having Joey Bosa over here with us in the Niners as well.
Absolutely.
It would be a great addition.
Do we have the money for that?
Yeah, that'd be hard to swing that.
The Bosa we have is already making, I think, like 170 million. I think it is.
Get rid of Ambry Thomas. Draft up another cornerback.
Oh yeah, we could cut that 1.1 mil. That shit's on Joey Bosa. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, give that to Joey.
What about back to Lamar? What about Purdy? Purdy or Lamar?
Start a franchise?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't let bias get. I mean, it's got to be Lamar, right?
Yeah.
I would probably say Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious on that too, see how much bias you guys had, because to me it's Lamar easily. I love what Purdy does for us, but Lamar's kind of on a different planet right now compared to Purdy.
I still think, Purdy is I don't think he's a game manager per se. He's still kind of like that, playmaker that he's been for us.
Absolutely.
But Lamar is on a different level, I think.
Yeah, and speaking of Purdy, biggest game of his career against probably the hardest defense he maybe has ever played, especially in a game like this. So how do you guys think Purdy is going to play, and what are you looking for him to do?
Well, just to recap a little bit, for that Lions game, you don't come back from a 17-point deficit without your quarterback playing his butt off. So I just do want to say that I feel like Purdy really stays in his own element. He stays calm. He's not like fighting it. No, he's gonna be calm. And I feel like what he's gonna do against this Chiefs defense, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
You agree with that, Cade?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, I feel like defensive identity, as Holden mentioned earlier, against the Ravens, Steve Spagnuolo dialed up blitzes like perfectly, and they've been doing that all season. I think he dialed up like 20 different blitzes or something against the Ravens. He absolutely confused Lamar. But Purdy has been incredible versus the blitz so far this season, a 133.2 passer rating against the blitz. So I think that's definitely going to be a very interesting matchup to watch. Is will Steve Spagnuolo, stick to his roots and continue to blitz a guy who's been absolutely dominant against it this entire season?
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, I think Purdy's just got to do what he's been doing all year. Staying calm and poised in the pocket like he's been doing all year. Make those plays in the backfield. Like when he was playing the Lions and they had the DB blitz, he just evades them and finds Juszczyk for a first down. I mean, that's what Purdy's been doing all year, and I think he just got to keep doing that against the Chiefs and stick to who he is as a player, and he'll be all right.
And if the Niners do win the Super Bowl, is Purdy your pick for Super Bowl MVP, or think McCaffrey might take that?
I think it depends on who has more touchdowns.
Yeah.
Touchdowns, whoever gets touchdowns.
Whoever has more touchdowns.
I think because the key to the 49ers winning the Super Bowl, as I mentioned earlier, is running the ball, I think CMC is going to be my pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
CMC, okay.
I'd like to see Purdy win it, though.
Yeah.
Going
just
from
to
Mr.
shut up all the
Irrelevant to a
haters.
Super Bowl MVP quarterback, I mean, that's no one's ever thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, definitely would be crazy. And for this game, Purdy's not really an X factor, I would say. Is there an X factor, someone who maybe might not be a top player on the team that you think will have a great impact in this game?
For me, on the Niners, I feel like that's going to be Lenore. I feel like he has just been very dominant, very flying under the radar, but he'll be there, give you those hard hits. He'll cover a great space for you. And we've seen that when the Niners played the Eagles. That last hit against Swift
that was
changed the whole game. And it was just the fourth quarter, and it still, shut them out.
Yeah.
So I feel like Lenore's going to be really that X factor.
I think that's what made Jalen Carter cry on the sideline.
That's what it
It
was.
was after that hit.
And I know
I'm
that.
telling you, he's nice.
X factor for me would be Hargrave, actually.
Hargrave.
Ooh,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
That was going to be my pick.
Okay.
Because he's probably not going to play.
Yep.
And he's the top guard. And Hargrave hasn't really been doing much this postseason, but he's an all Pro Bowl, all pro D tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is the game he steps up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. What about the Chiefs side of the ball? Any X factors that you might be a little worried about?
No.
None. Not a single one.
No.
No.
Not worried one bit.
No, I'm not worried.
Not worried about
Honestly-
L'Jarius Sneed.
Honestly,
Not worried about McDuffie.
No.
Isaiah Pacheco could run the ball well. Because, you saw what the Lions did that first half with Gibbs. Pacheco's kind of like that type of player, but he's more of an angry runner, not as fast. But, if Pacheco gets going, his motor is sky high, so that could be a problem.
He does run angry, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I also think maybe Chris Jones might be somebody to watch out for
Jones, okay.
because, I feel like the one weakness of the 49ers offense is our offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most people just view it as Trent Williams and company. And, Trent Williams can't block everybody, especially Chris Jones on the interior. So I think definitely us being able to slow him down to keep Purdy safe is going to be really important.
Mm-hmm. Is there a matchup in particular you guys are looking for, whether if that's a D-line going up against someone on the O-line or a wide receiver cornerback matchup?
Rasheed Rice and Trevor Ward.
Shaday's Ward, okay.
I think that's going to be a cool
That's a good
matchup
one.
to watch. Because Rasheed Rice has been low-key been going off over this Chiefs winning streak. So if Ward can lock him up and then, Lenore and Greenlaw, Lenore and Warner lock up Kelsey over the middle, their pass game is going to be in trouble. So.
Yeah. And, I don't think I've asked you guys the score predictions yet. I actually am curious about that. I know you guys said it would be high scoring, right?
Yeah.
Is there a number in particular you guys are looking at?
I feel like the Niners will hit 31.
30. Okay.
Then I feel like the Chiefs are going to hit at least 14, maybe 17. Because I feel like they are going to be able to hit Kelsey maybe once or twice. the running back. He'll be able to do something. But I feel like once we really dial in, our defensive coordinator really hammers that down. I feel like the Niners are gonna be able to take over.
I was thinking a closer score.
Closer score.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. It could be, but I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be like 31, 27, 28.
Yeah,
Niners.
I think I would go somewhere like that too. I think it probably will go down to this last drive. Would be cool to see Purdy game-winning drive in the Super Bowl. That
Yeah.
would be awesome. And what about the Super Bowl aside from actual football? You guys excited for the halftime show? Usher? No.
No.
That's a snack break for me.
Snack
Yeah.
break?
Yeah.
Okay. What's wrong with Usher? He's got yeah.
He's got That's about it.
that's about all
I
I
feel
know.
like
Yeah.
all he's trying to do is just serenade every female that's in the crowd. We're not here for that. I'm here for football.
Okay.
I'm not here for that.
So you've never been into like Super Bowl halftimes?
Well, yeah.
Like last year's was cool. It was who was last year? Was that Kendrick Lamar and all them?
No, that last year was Rihanna.
No,
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
Rihanna.
LA one,
That was
yeah,
LA.
where
That one was
had
cool.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dre,
Yeah.
Snoop,
50 Cent.
Snoop, 50 Cent, yeah,
Yeah,
that one was
that
good.
one was cool.
That one was
Yeah.
really good.
You think Usher's gonna bring out Taylor Swift though?
Oh God,
No,
hope
not
not.
a chance.
You know
Not a
they're
chance.
gonna try to get her. Oh my God! No.
I don't think it could go from Usher to Taylor Swift in the same halftime show, right?
they have-
It's completely different music.
No. Did y'all hear that they're gonna do the SpongeBob halftime show though?
No.
Or
what's
they're
that?
doing it's pregame.
they're playing it before the game.
Yeah,
though, yeah,
that's-
on
What are they
Nickelodeon.
doing?
Yeah,
So you know,
Sweet Victory.
They're doing Sweet Victory.
the classic SpongeBob song.
Really? Before the game?
on Nickelodeon, yeah.
I feel like they should do it
Because
as
they're
a halftime.
broadcasting
Okay.
on because like Nickelodeon
Yeah.
has that CBS deal.
Yeah.
They're broadcasting on Nickelodeon. I
They
think.
better not bring out Travis Scott or I'm gonna get PTSD.
I don't think they will. That was
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind
Nah, he's not gonna come out after he just lost the other night.
What about commercials? Have you guys been a fan of the commercials of Super Bowl? Because, I mean, that's also, like, an iconic part of Super Bowl Sundays. You know, they always got great commercials. Do you guys ever look at that? No, it's just straight to the phone?
I
feel
did
like they've
because
fallen off.
my family does like the bingo cards,
Oh,
for like
okay.
if there's like a
Okay.
like a
yeah.
commercial that pops up, you mark it on a bingo card.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
whoever
cool.
gets the first bingo, wins hella money. So
Oh, that's
my family does that, and that's why I pay attention to them.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I do think you're right, Kate. I think the commercials kind of have fallen off a bit. I mean, it wasn't a Super Bowl one, but last year one with the Burger King one, I think you
that's
guys know what I'm talking
iconic,
about. That was
yeah.
good. Yeah, this year the commercials for football haven't been that good. I mean, there's that little outlet one, but
Oh yeah, the one for Apple, yeah.
yeah, not my favorite. But aside from that, we have talked about the predictions and awards for the Super Bowl. But what about just regular season awards? Those do drop tonight, so we will see who wins those in a couple of hours. Do you guys have a pick for MVP? Kate, do you? I know you got.
Yeah, I got my list right here. I mean, I feel like this is definitely one of the weaker MVP like classes. I feel like like Peyton Manning in 2013, Mahomes in 2018. Like those are gonna go down as like some of the greatest MVP seasons of all time. Like that,
Yeah.
I don't really. This MVP I feel like is gonna be kind of forgotten, but I feel like you still have to give it to Lamar.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like the Ravens aren't where they are without Lamar.
Yeah, 100%. That's my pick also. He's been great all year, running the ball, passing the ball, definitely improved as a passer throughout
Absolutely.
the years. The Ravens kind of were the team to beat in the regular season. Is that your guys' pick also?
Yeah, that's my pick too. I would love, of course, to see CMC get it, but
Mhm.
I feel like it will go to Lamar.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it as the most valuable player, if the Ravens didn't have Lamar this year, they probably were maybe 500 team, maybe 7 to 10.
Yeah.
So I think for how Lamar played this year, you got to give it to Lamar.
Mhm. And as for offensive player of the year, I'm sure you got Christian McCaffrey,
Oh, most
right?
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For all you guys, yeah, definitely my pick. But
Tyreek Hill makes a case, but I think CMC just had an outstanding year.
The
Yeah.
fact that he's also nominated for an MVP, I feel like
Yeah.
shows
Shows-
numbers.
yeah.
Shows that he should be the offensive player of the year.
and he had a touchdown every single game, right? Or except
for
for
one.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely my pick also. What about on the defensive side of the ball? Any deep boys?
I mean, my pick is Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I mean, he was the head of that Browns defense that was surprisingly dominant. I mean, that Browns defense was incredible this year. I mean, I feel like that's the main reason that they were able to overcome all of the injuries that they had. I mean, they had Joe Flacco in there playing incredible in the last couple of games of the season, but that defense was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was looking at the nominees yesterday. I know I totally wouldn't pass. I think Max Crosby should get it.
Crosby, really?
Yeah, because I think not only was he a great defensive player this year, he had such a huge improvement since last year, but also like he carried kind of Myles Garrett did with that Browns defense. He carried that Raiders defense, especially when Antonio Pierce took over. I mean, Crosby just went off. So honestly, I'd like to see him win it. Okay. I don't know if he's gonna win it, but that's who I'd pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
He's a guy that literally plays every single snap, right?
Yeah.
Like that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that. Like even with the Niners, we have like the rotations where like we'll sub out defensive linemen to keep them fresh, but to be out there for every single snap and still dominate like that is incredible.
And what about you, Jaden?
I feel like I might go with a bit of a sleeper. I like T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt, okay.
That dude's been having a year.
Yeah, he's also kind of carried that Steelers defense.
Carried that Steelers defense for a little bit. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to him.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also curious to see what you guys think about comeback player of the year. I know before the season even started, DeMar Hamlin was basically a lock, but now there's a couple other names you could say. Is DeMar Hamlin your guys' pick, or you have someone else?
I'd probably just pick DeMar Hamlin, but I mean Joe Flacco. I mean he's pretty close.
Yeah.
To be honest, because he was just sitting on his couch, got a call from Stefanski and them, and then he went off with the Browns. So.
Yeah. What about you, Cade?
I mean, this is kind of controversial, but a lot of I feel like the NFL. I mean, if I were to predict it, I would say DeMar Hamlin, just for that story. But I feel like he didn't really have. I mean, how many snaps did he even play this year? I don't even really feel like he was on the field that much.
He had
that one in the playoffs.
Yeah, he
horrible
had that
play.
Fake punt. That was odd, but. I mean, Joe Flacco, like you just said, Holden, he came out and he looked like his 2012 playoff self with the Browns. Off the couch at age, how old is he?
41?
41.
40, 39, yeah. That's who I would want to see win it.
Yeah, okay. What about you?
Same thing, Joe Flacco.
Okay.
Having a hell of a year, so you have to give it to him.
Okay. Even though Hamlin died, he died on the field. He was dead. No.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay. You just got to be good at football to win that award.
Yeah.
I want to give credit. I think Stafford's nominated too.
Yeah, Stafford.
Because he was coming off a horrible, I think it was a shoulder or elbow injury, and he balled out with the Rams this year.
He had a great game against that Detroit in the first round. That was definitely a really fun game to watch. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about? Well, I don't know what else to talk about.
Coach of the year?
Coach of the year.
Yeah. So, a couple of weeks ago, looking at the nominees, I feel like it was easily Dan Campbell, just because of the way that he turned around the Lions, so quickly and, helped them win their first playoff game in 30 years. But I know you're not really supposed to take the playoffs into account, but his decision to go for it on those fourth downs, kind of tainted my vision of him. So this might be a little bit of a biased pick, but DeMeco Ryans, coach of the year. On the Texans, rookie coach, rookie quarterback, and you not only make the playoffs, but you win a playoff game. You don't see that very often. Mm-hmm. So I think definitely DeMeco.
Yeah. What about you, DeMeco also?
Yeah, I completely agree, because that's something you don't really hear that too often. A rookie quarterback and a rookie coach making it all the way to the playoffs and winning a playoff game. Yeah. You don't really hear that too often. But you can still make a thing for Dan Campbell, seeing how the Lions. When was the last time they made the playoffs?
1992
or 93.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking 91.
And what was their last season record? 3-10.
Last season?
Well, last season
they were like 7.
They were 8-9.
Oh, 8-9. Okay.
Because
But still, I feel like he's been having a great season. You don't get there without having a great coach. So I feel like it's either going to Dan Campbell or DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
I'd like to see DeMeco win it too, but I'd also like Stefanski. He's nominated, and I think that would be a good pick for Coach of the Year just because of how much adversity that Browns team had to go through with all the injuries. Nick Chubb, half that offensive line was getting switched out towards the end of that season, and especially like Bitonio, or I think it's his name. He's like an all-pro left guard. He was hurt for a while.
Yeah, he was.
And then Deshaun Watson obviously hurt. They had to pull Joe Flacco out of his house to go play. And Stefanski, credit to Stefanski with the play calling and, guiding his offense to be as good as they were with Flacco at quarterback. And then that defense was a top 5, top 3 defense in the league with injuries on that defensive line and in that secondary. And it's like, I like to see Stefanski win it, especially how they went 11-5.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I think Stefanski's my pick for all the reasons you said. And the last award I want to touch on was Offensive Rookie of the Year. Cade, you said D'Amico for Coach of the Year. So is Stroud your Rookie of the Year?
I mean, Offensive Rookie of the Year, I feel like it's a toss-up. It's a 50-50 between Puka and Stroud. I mean, either of those two guys, that's easily the hardest award, in my opinion, to choose because both of those guys deserve to win it.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it should go to Puka, in my opinion. I feel like he's been breaking all the records he's broken, and he's been having a hell of a year. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Puka.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Puka either, but I'd like to see Stroud win it just because he broke records as well. And, obviously, first-year head coach, they won a playoff game. Stroud was like basically, he didn't have that many weapons and still balled out like he did. So I think Stroud should win it.
Yeah, Stroud's my pick also. QBs kind of just are naturally more valuable than wide receivers. And I think Stroud is more valuable to that offense than what Puka is to the Rams. But definitely could be a toss-up, like you said, Cade. Back to the Super Bowl, though. The Niners, they've gone close. They were so close to the Super Bowl in 2019. Just couldn't get to the Super Bowl the past couple of years. If they don't win it this year, do you view this as kind of their last chance?
No,
not at all.
Brock Purdy's still on that. He's getting paid less than $1 million a year right now. We're getting a top 10 quarterback in the league for basically nothing. So, I think they said that they've made it a contractual obligation in the offseason to re-sign Ayuk, which I 100% agree with. He needs to get paid. He needs to stay here. And then, as soon as we do that, I don't think we really have any other important people. Hufanga will be coming back next year.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
So,
I'm missing him.
Absolutely not. I feel like we still are easily in the mix.
I think this year, I do agree with what you're saying, but I think this year is the year that the Niners need to win it. It's next year they can obviously win it, but the teams are going to get better. There's going to be different competition next year with how the Niners played this year, and it's kind of like destiny for them to just rematch the Chiefs and get that revenge. They were talking about a revenge tour in 2020, but then with COVID happening and then they had all the injuries back in 2021, 2022, they didn't get back, and I think this year is all right, now we're back in it. This is our year to win it. So
how much money do you think Ayuk is gonna ask for? Because I saw Mike Evans is asking for $40 million, I think, or
yeah, he
something
wants to be the
stupid
highest
like
paid
that.
wide receiver. I think Mike Evans is.
Ayuk is probably gonna want a bag just as high as that, if not higher. So you guys aren't worried that he might leave in free agency?
We had that debacle a couple of years ago where Deebo Samuel requested a trade.
Yeah.
And, he ended up staying. So, if he wants to get paid like a top receiver, he should get paid like a top receiver because he is a top receiver.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
Simple as that.
He's an all-pro receiver. So.
Same with you, Jane?
Yeah, I completely agree. I say Mike Evans wants 40.
I think 35, 30,
yeah, somewhere up there. Yeah.
He wants a bag.
Yeah.
So I feel like Ayuk, we can put him. I'm gonna go 28.
28.
28. I feel
Okay.
like that's a good number for him.
You think you'd accept that?
Yeah, 28 million. I'll take that. Right now.
I think Mike Evans, how many straight 1,000-yard seasons has he had?
Nine.
It's something
He
crazy. He's
deserves that.
Mr. Consistent. He's an incredible receiver. But, at his age, he's in his 30s now, right?
Yeah,
I don't think that much is a little. Probably 30, I think, would be good on a 2-3 year, wherever he goes to. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to touch up on? Anything we miss?
Yeah. If the Niners lose, that's camera. If the Niners lose, we riot. That's all I gotta say.
Riot.
We're going to Las Vegas. We're going to go to that Raider Stadium. We're going to break it. We riot Go Niners. Hoorah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money to fly out there. I mean, we could ride in like Vacaville
No,
or
we're
something.
flying Spirit. We're flying
Spirit? We're gonna go to Spirit. That's risking our lives.
$40
I don't know.
flight. Might be a
Yeah, we're
propeller.
gonna be shaking in there. Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, we're gonna riot. That's how I feel.
That's how you feel.
That's
Okay.
how I feel.
How confident are you, Jane, in the Niners winning?
I'm
Would you bet
very-
on it?
Yes, I'll bet on it.
You would.
I like my odds. I mean, our odds against the Chiefs more than our odds against the Ravens.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
I feel like we've seen Mahomes way too many times. We've seen Andy Reid way too many times. We've seen Travis Kelce way too many times. And I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift. So I feel like we'll be able to dominate. That's why I said my score was so high. I feel like we'll be able to dominate. I think it's going to be happening this year.
Have y'all seen the number 13 theory?
Oh,
What is it?
my God.
What is that?
It's like basically, I think like Taylor Swift's favorite number is 13. It's Super Bowl 58, 5 plus 8 is 13. There's like a bunch of these things that relate to Super Bowl that add up to 13.
And didn't she just win her like her 13th like
Yeah,
Grammy or Oscar?
yeah,
or something
or
like
she's
that?
dropping her 13th album or something, but like everyone's saying like go for the Chiefs. It's Taylor Swift's favorite number, but also it's like the Niners are destined to win because Purdy's 13.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
he's
was
gonna get
thinking.
Super Bowl MVP because of this, but. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've seen so many like videos about it. I just like had to mention.
I haven't seen that. I've only seen the script that the Chiefs are scripted to win, and then when all the confetti is coming down, Kelsey's gonna propose to Taylor.
I've not heard of that. It would be funny. The only thing I've heard that could be scripted was the logos, how it was red and purple for
Yeah.
the Ravens.
Yeah.
But we know that didn't
That didn't happen
end up so
anymore.
well. So, but I really did kind of start believing that for a second. But
Yeah, I was a little scared when I was like, ooh, this might actually happen.
yeah,
Then we also saw that upset with the Chiefs and the Ravens, so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is fake.
Holden, I know you're a betting man. Are you putting any bets?
I'm
on
probably
this
gonna
game?
do some player props.
Player props. Okay,
Yeah,
what are
on
you?
some- on
what are
some
you
prize
looking
picks,
at?
but-
On prize picks. Okay.
Yeah.
Who are you
I-
looking at in particular?
Kittle.
Kittle.
Because
Okay.
I think the Chiefs defense, they're a good pass defense, but they're not that good against tight ends. So I was gonna put Kittle down on my little parlay.
Okay.
But what I would thought was interesting was if you look at the the money line odds, the Niners are favored by like minus 200 or something. Like it's really close odds, but Niners are favored. So like 88% of the bets are on the Chiefs to win, and everyone thinks like the script is like, oh, the Chiefs are gonna win, but they're not favored. Everyone's gonna bet on them. So then the Niners are gonna win, and the Vegas wins all that money. So I mean,
That's what.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go with the Vegas odds.
Yeah,
Go
they're
with the Niners.
always right, it seems. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of all we got for today's podcast. Thank you guys again for tuning in to our very first episode of the Power Play. It was Cade Manor, Drew Kirby, Jaden Smith, and Holden Beers. Once again, thank you all for listening. And until next time, take care.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
Nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
on-the-job training is huge.
Get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So.
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut one. And cut one. Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for three. It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock. Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots.
The sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
College just got affordable. Up to 100% of enrollment fees can be reimbursed for first-time college students taking full-time classes. At Solano Community College, we are taking full advantage of this to further your future. With certificate and degree programs in industrial technology, aeronautics, biotechnology, and many others, Solano Community College is a staple for success. For more information, please contact the Financial Aid Office at 707-864-7000.